Hi, Facebook family. How are you? I want to thank those of you who were asking about how Donovan's doing. He's okay. He's doing good. We had a meeting at the school. I had to meet with the principal and the behavioral team, and he's doing okay. Thank you for your concern, and please keep my family in prayer, because there's a lot of people who for whatever reason, they want to see us fail. They want to see us poor. They want to see us on welfare. They want to see us on the street. Anything good that I do, anything successful I do, here they come to sabotage it. I mean, if I post up a gig that I'm doing, these people actually will go and they will reach out to the musicians that are on the gig and try to friend them and play like they know me in a way that they don't, and then try to get into my business and try to tell them negative things about me so they don't trust me or want to work with me, looking at me side-eyed. It's really ridiculous, and it's very sad that it's this cutthroat and competitive, and among grown adults. But we have a lot of people who want to see us fail. Some of them are people I don't even know. And we also have a lot of copycat energy, which I pray for healing for somebody who does that. But anyway, please do keep us all in prayer. And that anything blocking me from doing what I'm supposed to do with my music, or getting things in order so that I make good with people, that those blockages be removed, and that they be removed immediately in the name of Yeshua HaMashiach, Jesus Christ. Or if you believe in some other energy, whatever, that it's fine. I appreciate the love when it's sent. So anyway, this is another one of my songs. I'm sitting basically since I left the band, going over my unreleased lyrics and material, seeing what I want to use, what I don't, for upcoming gigs and recordings. I could use musicians to help back me up. I do have a good crew backing me up for my upcoming gig at a rain benefit on November 8th. November 21st was canceled. They didn't need me, which I'm actually glad about. And then after that, my next one is not going to be till December. So I want to take my time to get my bearings, do what I have to do, and work on my material. It dawned on me that I did a lot of hard work for somebody else. I thought it was for me, and it was equally for me, and it wasn't. And I built that situation up in a matter of 6 months, from nobody knowing who this crew was, to them being on the same par and the same level of a lot of other people who spent years getting on the level that they're at. And I think that somebody pointed out to me that speaks to my management skills and ability. And I just thought about it. I said, I do this for other people. I could have done that for myself. Like, I could have taken my lyrics, worked with people to put it to music, and did all that myself. And it would have hopefully been less drama. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm working on. So that's what I'm working on. And the musicians behind me, I appreciate them backing me up and being part of my little crew. I don't know if those people are going to be on a more long-term band lineup. We will see how we sound. We will see how well we collaborate and get along with each other. We will see, what happens. You know what I mean? That's kind of where I'm at with it. But you don't know unless you try. And so that's what I'm doing. And I don't think there's anything wrong with doing it at 53, and it's what I want to do. I've done for a lot of other people, and my kids are now grown. They're adults. I mean, they still need me, so I'm still here for them. But it's okay for me to do things that bring me joy, and see if maybe they can make a little money also, which wouldn't hurt, right? So anyway, this song is called VaVaVoom. I might change the name because there is a name by Nicki Minaj of the same name, and I don't want folks to get confused. Not that anyone would ever confuse me with Nicki Minaj, and that's not disparaging Nicki. She's a very talented lady. But also because I don't know, we'll see what happens. What inspired the song? Okay, when I was in high school, there was a dude I was really crushing on. There were not a lot of punk rockers in my high school. This was before all this stuff was cool, young kids, when people ran and were scared of punk rockers, and it wasn't common for people to dye their hair, have piercings. The piercings and tattoos were illegal, and people thought we were completely crazy and ran in fear from us, right? And we were automatically criminalized just for being punk, for being nonconformists. So there were very few. I went to a Catholic school in Brooklyn, Bishop Ford High, Falcons, fellow Falcons, Lady Falcons. I think there were maybe 2 punk girls and a goth in the whole school. A couple goths and 2 punk girls. I was the only Latina punk. And there were a bunch of guys, but they were older than me. They were a couple years older than me. So this guy was like a senior and I was a sophomore, and I was so smitten with him. I was so crazy about this guy. I was so nuts about him. And I never had opportunity to talk to him because of the way our classes were set up and scheduled. And, you know, I was younger, you know, he hung out with the juniors and the seniors, you know, was getting ready to leave and do his thing. And I was smitten. And I was never the type, and I'm still not the type to approach a guy. I don't do that. I stand in my energy, and if the guy's interested, he will come to me. And then if he comes to me, we'll see what happens, you know? And for the most part, I kind of take his lead. Like, if you say we're only friends, then you're going to get friend zone. You're going to get friend because that's what you're telling me. If you want it to be more than friends, we see what happens. You know what I mean? But I usually let the guy kind of define the relationship. And if the definition isn't a definition I'm okay with, then I skip, you know, pretty much. If it is one I'm okay with, I go with the flow. But I was like that then, you know. I didn't really chase people. I mean, there was a couple guys I was crushing on, but I didn't really do that. So, anyway, one day, I never talked to him. I could never bring myself to even say hi. Like I would lose the power of speech. And, so one day, we were in the hall. It was me and 3 of my friends. And one of them had to grab something or put something in her locker before we went to lunch at the school cafeteria. Right. The bell had already rung. So the hallway was pretty much empty except for us and a few stragglers, you know, running to get to their class late or at their lockers. Right. And he comes down the hall with his 2 friends. And he was like, oh my God, he was like the sun. I couldn't, his energy, he was just so bright to me, you know. And I looked up, and for the very first time in the 2 years that I have been at school, I don't know if somebody told him that girl is crushing on you. I don't know what happened, but I can't even talk now. For the first time in the whole 2 years that I was in school, he actually looked in my direction from a little bit down the hall, smiled, and his smile lit up. It just lit my world up. And he went like that, you know, like, hey, you know. And my knees immediately turned to jello, and I fell flat on my ass. Boom, flat on my ass on the hard hallway floor. And I was mortified. And I tried to get up and my knees were still weak and I couldn't get up. And so my friend, bless her heart, to try to lessen the embarrassment, went and did her little slapstick thing and kind of on her heels slipped and made herself fall to make it look like we both slipped together on something on the floor. And she's grabbing me by the arm, trying to pull me back up, right? And I can't get up because my knees are still weak. And she starts laughing and we're all giggling. And, which was fair because it was funny as hell. But I didn't feel it was funny at the time. At the time, and I don't really blush. I was, oh my God, I was beet red. I was so mortified. And he's looking at us like silly girls. And then he turned around and left. And I just wanted to die. And so we were supposed to go in the cafeteria, but he was going there with his friends and I refused to go in. I was so embarrassed. I would not go. I think I didn't go in the cafeteria for an entire month. Instead, I would have my buddies slip me some fries and I would hang out in the newspaper office because I was the editor-in-chief of the school paper, High Point. And we had our own little officer room and I had punked it up. I had put a recliner and stuff and pillows, and I brought my portable vinyl record player, in there, and I had some of my imports and my vinyls. So and I would go in and snacks, and I would go in there and I'd eat snacks and edit the paper or not and listen to my punk imported EPs and stuff and put my feet up on the desk like I was the boss lady, because I was. And so if you were in Mr. Seward's social studies class, which was right next to the newspaper office, and you heard punk or DKs coming from somewhere, yeah, that was me in the newspaper office next door. I would try to keep it low so they wouldn't throw me out, you know what I mean? Because school was in session, classes would be in session, I'd be sitting there eating French fries and chips and shit. Or once or twice, I would go down the hill and get a Mr. Softy and come back and shit. Or my boyfriend at the time, he was a friend, then he became my boyfriend. He would cut school. He didn't even go to school in the borough that I was in. He would cut school and he would roll up and come up to the window or sneak in through the back, the auditorium, right over to the newspaper office, and he'd bring me Mr. Softy and bring me Mickey D's and shit. But I did that for a month. Sans boyfriend, because I didn't have one at the time, because I was so embarrassed. I couldn't bear seeing him after that, because I was so incredibly embarrassed that my knees literally went. And there have been 3 times in my life that my knees just went, that I was that affected and I literally swooned. Okay. So this is what that song is about. At 52, it happened to me for the 3rd time in my life. Again, I was dealing with the guy who I was talking to about some of the charity gigs I did. And he happened to be working with some artists in the musicians building. And at the time, I happened to be practicing with someone in the musicians building. So I said, hey, I'm there every Thursday. Why don't I come by and we'll go over this stuff for some of the shows that you're thinking of doing with me? And he was like, cool. And I went, poked my head in. I think it was maybe a 5 or 10 minute conversation. And he must have been like, is this chick on drugs? Because I was shaking. I was so. And then when I got out of the studio to go back in the rickety elevator, that if it's ever removed or fixed, the musicians building will not be the same. So I went to get back into the rickety elevator to go upstairs to the rehearsal that I had. And when I went upstairs, he called out to me something to the effect of, hey, call me later at whatever. But the bass, his voice, I'm a bass head. My knees, kaboom, bah. I fell into the elevator. And I had to hold myself up right? Up the elevator like a wall and like lean against it and be like, oh, I need to get my knees back because then I won't be able to get out of this elevator to go to practice. And I was able to compose myself from like, I think floor 5 to floor 12. And I'm like this coming off the elevator, you know, it was so funny. But yeah, so I guess that feeling does that, butterflies in your stomach of a, you know, and you'll hear in the lyrics, I was also inspired a little bit by our buddy Ralph Cramden from the Honeymooners, because anyone who knows that TV show knows that when Ralph gets flustered, he goes, you know, so that's the energy. Oh my God. Like I can't even talk. Like I'm so affected. You know what I mean? Kind of a deal. And, you'll catch the Honeymooners reference towards the end of the lyrics. But I wrote this and I did give it to someone to ask them if they could assist me in adapting it to a song, to music. And they came up with some music for it, but it's not the vibe I was looking for. So I left the group. So I'm going to not use their music and use other music. And I need help from you guys to help me come up with it. What I have in my head, it's punk, but it's kind of rockabilly-ish. Okay. At the same time. And it's got that drum, da-dun, da-dun, dun, da-dun, dun, da-dun, dun, da-dun, dun. Suddenly I can't speak. I'm tongue-tied and stuttering, shaking and weak. Everyone's wondering what's wrong with me. I'm afraid to look up because you might see that I'm smitten. The second you enter the room, I just forget to breathe. VaVaVoom. How'd I end up beside you? Can't recall how I ended up behind you. 1 minute I was sitting at the bar. Next thing I'm right next to where you are, like a magnet. As soon as you leave the room, I hop up and follow. VaVaVoom. VaVaVoom. Wish I could show you just how much I care, but I get nervous and I just don't dare. Each time some other girl smiles at your charm, it takes all my might to not break her fucking arm. Staring intently at my shoes, hiding my trembling hands, playing it cool. Can others tell I'm so taken by you? Am I that hopeless, a driveling fool? I need a seat. You smile from across the room, and my knees go weak. Damn, VaVaVoom, 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 VaVaVoom. Suddenly I can't speak. I'm clumsy and sweaty, affected and weak. Everyone's wondering what's wrong with me. I'm afraid to look up because then they'll see that I'm love struck. The second they enter the room, it's pow bang zoom. VaVaVoom. It's pow bang zoom. VaVaVoom. Oh, it's pow bang zoom. VaVaVoom. It's pow bang zoom. VaVaVoom. I might do it a little higher, further up in my head voice. You know, we'll see. In which case we'll get a pow bang zoom. VaVaVoom. It's pow bang zoom. VaVaVoom. I'm working on it, but I'm down for feedback. I'm looking for people to get in the studio with me and record this shit. I have a melody in my head. I have suddenly I can't speak. I'm clumsy and sweaty, affected and weak. Everyone's wondering what's wrong with me. Afraid to look up because they don't see that I'm love struck. The second you enter the room, it's pow bang zoom. VaVaVoom. It's Pow Bang Zoom, VaVaVoom. Oh, it's Pow Bang Zoom, VaVaVoom. Anyway, take care. I'm focusing on what I gotta do. I didn't forget people that I owe. I didn't, babies. I didn't. You're not gonna get stiffed. I know. You've heard it all before. I'm not gonna do that to you. Please bear with me, honey bears. I have a lot being thrown at me right now that I didn't plan for, but it's going to get taken care of for sure. It is. It's going slower than I hoped to take care of it, but shit is going to be taken care of. Folks are going to lay respect on my name or shut up. They're going to not steal or misuse my material. We're going to set the record straight, and the damage that was done that affected bands and venues in my nonprofit is going to be cleaned up. Folks are going to answer for what the fuck they did. I'm just making it clear. Anyone who thinks that's bullshit is about to find out it's not. So that's essentially it. I don't know what else to say. But thanks to those who are hanging in with me and supporting me and showing me love. I do not forget who is in my corner. And I've been in a lot of people's corners when they were in trouble, even though I didn't really know them, just because I felt it was the right thing to do. They don't really owe me anything for it, but they don't have to be nasty either. You know what I'm saying? Because I did help them. Anyway, that's all I got for today. Try to keep those knees, solid, okay?